How hard can it be to raise a cat? Oh! I just adopted 3 cats, but it turns out Germany is one of the best countries to have pets. Because here they're treated like kings and queens. But why are Germans so crazy about their pets? And what do you need to know about keeping pets in Germany? Let's dive into the nitty-gritty details. So what kinds of animals do Germans love the most? Well, sorry doggies, but there are more cats in Germany than any other pet. And the number of cats has even been growing over the last 10 years.
Dogs take second place. Overall, around 35 million pets call Germany their home, next to 83 million people.
There are so many rules in Germany, but when it comes to keeping pets, these can get kind of vague. You can keep almost every animal, apart from some protected species, such as some monkeys, parrots, or several snakes. And once you've found your favourite animal, there's a lot to think about. If you get a dog, you need to shell out dog tax every year, and they need to be insured. Come on, let's go. Woo!
Most parks have a designated spot for dogs to run wild and free. Dogs are also allowed on public transport, most cafes, restaurants and some shops, but not supermarkets.
If you're bringing a pet into Germany or adopting one from another country, you need to check the health regulations first. And if they're travelling within the EU, they need one of these, a pet passport. What's it like in your country? Here you go.
When the time has come, you have to think about where to bury your pet, either in your backyard or at a pet cemetery, but not in a wild meadow or a forest. Since fairly recently, pets can even be buried alongside their owners.
Did you know that Germans spend the most amount of money on pet supplies in the whole of Europe? Which isn't really very surprising when you look at everything that's on offer here. You can buy almost any kind of toy or accessory imaginable.
In some of these shops, you can find a hairdresser or a vet. In others, you can even buy pets. This has been criticised by animal rights activists though, because anyone can go and buy a hamster for just 20 euros. Cats and dogs are still the world's most popular pets. Pet psychologist Belinda Kannmacher tells us why.
The dog, they live in family groups and have a similar lifestyle to us humans, so they fit perfectly with us. People say that cats have human behavior, but I think we're just fascinated by the independence of cats. So the cats, they are like bred for just like 140 years, but the dog actually lives among us humans since 15,000 years.
1,000?
Yes.
So not 1,500?
No, 15,000.
Yes. Wow. It was not until the end of the 18th century that pets became common in Europe. In the mid-19th century, dogs began serving as companions to politicians and royals. Great Danes were considered imperial dogs, and dachshunds were also favoured by royals as small hunting dogs. Queen Elizabeth became famous for her love of Welsh corgis. Other famous personalities were also accompanied by their fluffy friends, such as Pablo Picasso and his dachshund, Winston Churchill with his poodles, and of course, Karl Lagerfeld with his Colette.
Okay, now, very important to know, here are some German phrases that I learned recently for life with pets. Leckerli, treats, derived from the German word lecker, which means tasty. Gassi gehen, colloquial talk for walk the dog. Herrchen or Frauchen, feminine and masculine references for master.
Of course, there is also a place for homeless pets. Europe's biggest animal shelter is also in Germany.
I'm at the Berlin Animal Shelter to talk to Maureen. She runs the shelter here and helps animals like this one find a new home every day.
And what happens to most of the animals here? Do most of them find a home?
Yeah, like 90% of animals find a home. Sometimes we get street cats, wild, free-roaming cats, and after castration, we release them.
So there are then some street cats in Germany still?
Yeah, and I think there's no country in the world where there's no street cat population. In some countries it's very obvious, like Turkey, especially in Germany, they are very hidden.
Do you get the feeling that more people are coming to get cats or dogs at the shelter here?
We really like to see that people are now rather approaching animal shelters than breeders. We do get about like 200 requests to adopt an animal a day, but people have wrong expectations about what pet ownership means and also what adoption means in general. There's just too many pets. 90% of the pets we get into the shelter are from owners who didn't keep them and who didn't train them right. Some are taken away by public authorities because they didn't care enough. But concerning the responsible owners, of course, we have seen a lot of progress in the past years.
Yes, there are a few laws when it comes to getting pets here in Germany, but that's only to ensure that you're taking proper care of your furry little friends. My life is definitely much better with 3 little cats at home. 10 out of 10 would recommend. What's it like for pets in your country? Let us know in the comments below.